On August 16, 2025, the warning became impossible to ignore. Along the Pacific Northwest, from the rugged cliffs of Northern California to the green coastlines of Vancouver Island, scientists are sounding the alarm. Beneath these quiet coastal towns and bustling cities lies one of the most dangerous fault lines in the world, the Cascadia Subduction Zone. A fracture stretching nearly 600 miles, where the massive Juan de Fuca plate relentlessly grinds its way under the North American plate, storing centuries of strain and pressure. For generations, that pressure has built silently, unseen, as people above live their lives in Seattle, Portland, Eugene, and countless small coastal towns. But now, geoscientists warn, the next rupture could come at any time. And when it does, the outcome may be catastrophic. According to new research, there is a 15% chance of a magnitude 8.0 or stronger earthquake along Cascadia within the next 50 years. Imagine the moment it begins. The earth convulses. Bridges sway violently. Skyscrapers groan as glass shatters and concrete splits. The coastline itself drops suddenly, sinking up to 6.5 feet in places. Entire neighborhoods collapsing below sea level in seconds. Then comes the sea. Within minutes, walls of water that could tower as high as 1,000 feet race toward the shore, a mega tsunami of almost unimaginable size. Computer models paint a terrifying picture. Maps show the Pacific coast drenched in red, where floodwaters would surge inland, swallowing highways, airports, and ports. Entire stretches of Seattle's waterfront vanish beneath the tide. Portland, though inland, is not spared. Rivers reverse, pushing water into the city with destructive force. From Crescent City in Northern California to Astoria, Oregon, towns vanish from the map in minutes. The roar of the ocean becomes deafening. Sirens wail across coastal communities, but time is brutally short. The surge would sweep away roads before evacuation could be completed, cutting off escape routes. Millions of people living along the Pacific coast could find themselves with only minutes or no time at all to flee. Scientists describe this scenario as inevitable, not if, but when. The Cascadia Subduction Zone has a history of monstrous quakes, and its last great rupture came in the year 1700. Back then, long before skyscrapers, highways, and modern cities lined the coast, the land still shook violently. Native oral traditions tell of villages swallowed by the sea. In Japan, thousands of miles away, records describe a mysterious tsunami striking with no warning, its source traced across the ocean to Cascadia. That was more than 3 centuries ago. Geologists say the fault is overdue. The danger is not abstract. The Cascadia Zone has been locked in silence for centuries, and silence in geology is not safety. It is warning. The Juan de Fuca plate continues its relentless push beneath North America, and with every year, the stored energy grows. The ground may feel stable, the waves may look calm, but beneath, a monster waits. As of today, August 16th, scientists warn that millions of Americans and Canadians live in the direct path of destruction. The Pacific Northwest is not just a region of scenic beauty, it is a region living on borrowed time. When Cascadia breaks, the world will watch one of the greatest natural disasters in history unfold. And the chilling reminder that haunts every geoscientist is this: Cascadia has done it before. It will do it again. The only question is when. If Cascadia ruptures today, the scale of destruction would be beyond anything the Pacific Northwest has ever seen. Scientists estimate that a megaquake and tsunami from the Cascadia Subduction Zone could kill up to 30,000 people, leave tens of thousands more injured, and cause over $81 billion in damages. More than 170,000 buildings, homes, schools, hospitals, and businesses could be swept away or reduced to rubble in minutes. The densely populated coastlines of Washington, Oregon, and Northern California would take the hardest hit. Coastal towns like Seaside, Cannon Beach, and Crescent City could be completely erased, swallowed by walls of water racing inland at highway speeds. In Seattle, the very heart of the Pacific Northwest, ports and piers that drive the regional economy could be shattered. Ferries and container ships torn from their moorings would be hurled inland like toys, while the waterfront, from Pike Place Market to the industrial docks, lies drowned beneath the tide. In Portland, though nearly 100 miles from the ocean, the story is no safer. A tsunami funneled up the Columbia River could send a surge roaring into the city, flooding neighborhoods and cutting off bridges that connect east and west. Interstate highways, vital lifelines for evacuation and supply chains, would be underwater. Power plants, fuel depots, and communication hubs would collapse, plunging millions into darkness at the very moment they most need light. And it would not stop there. The violent displacement of seawater would send energy racing outward across the Pacific. Alaska and Hawaii, though farther from Cascadia, could still face damaging waves. Coastal communities thousands of miles away could experience flooding and destruction just as Japan did when the fault last ruptured more than 3 centuries ago. But here lies the difference between 1700 and 2025. In 1700, the region was sparsely populated, villages dotted along the shore. The destruction was immense but limited to smaller communities. Today, the Pacific Northwest is home to millions. Urban skylines rise where once there were forests. Bridges, highways, ports, and airports, the infrastructure of a modern world, now sit directly in the path of disaster. The same quake that toppled longhouses in 1700 would now topple skyscrapers. The same waves that swept away canoes would now sweep away interstates and container ships. Imagine it. Highways fractured and drowned, impassable for rescue convoys. Neighborhoods erased, families scattered, with entire blocks reduced to debris fields. Airports destroyed, runways ripped apart by flooding and liquefaction, grounding planes when they're needed most. Lifelines cut, economies shattered. Researchers warn that the Cascadia megaquake would not only destroy lives and homes, but also paralyze transportation networks across the western United States. With ports like Seattle and Portland offline, vital shipping routes for the entire nation could grind to a halt. Fuel shortages, food supply disruptions, and economic ripples would stretch across the continent. And all of this, scientists say, is not the product of imagination. It is a measurable, documented risk. Every year, the Juan de Fuca plate grinds deeper under North America, and every year the stress grows. Cascadia will break again. The only uncertainty is when. As chilling as these forecasts are, they carry an urgent message. This is not a distant theory. It is a real, looming danger that will define the lives of millions along the Pacific coast. The Pacific Northwest stands on borrowed time, and the countdown has already begun. Scientists warn that when Cascadia breaks, the first wave of destruction will not wait. Unlike storms that can be tracked for days, an earthquake and tsunami give little to no warning. The shaking comes first, and within minutes, walls of water follow. That is why experts say preparedness now is the only defense against what could be the Pacific Northwest's deadliest natural disaster. New research from Virginia Tech paints an even darker picture. According to lead geoscientist Tina Dura, current hazard maps underestimate the flooding risk along the Cascadia subduction zone. Her team's computer simulations, tens of thousands of models, reveal that after a megaquake, coastal floodplains could expand dramatically, swallowing land well beyond the areas previously marked as high risk. Towns thought to be outside the danger zone could, in reality, be among the first to vanish. The expansion of the coastal floodplain following a Cascadia subduction zone earthquake has not been previously quantified, Dr. Dura explained. The impacts to land use could significantly increase the timeline to recovery. In simple terms, the water will rise farther and faster than most communities are prepared for. This makes evacuation plans not just necessary, but urgent. Experts say coastal residents in Washington, Oregon, and Northern California should know their routes inland, have go bags ready, and understand that when the ground shakes, the clock starts ticking. Early warning systems already in place in parts of the Pacific must be strengthened and expanded. Reinforced coastal structures, seawalls, elevated buildings, and vertical evacuation towers could mean the difference between survival and catastrophe. But officials warn, time will not be on your side. A mega tsunami from Cascadia would arrive in as little as 15 to 30 minutes for some coastal towns. That leaves no time for indecision, no time for debate. Preparation is everything. The lesson is clear when comparing Cascadia to other disasters. In 2011, Japan's Tohoku earthquake and tsunami killed nearly 20,000 people despite one of the most advanced warning systems in the world. In Cascadia, with dense coastal populations and limited evacuation routes, the toll could be worse if action is not taken now.